understand what I'm about to tell you, you need to do something first. You need to believe in the impossible. Can you do that?
What do you desire that you can't have?
When I eat a brain, I get visions.
Don't ever come back to Gotham.
You have failed this city.
Jesus, what kind of a preacher are you?
There's about a dozen ways that I could stop you right now. But I don't think I have to.
Now you should at least give a brother a moment to say something heroically clever.
In the future, my friends may not be heroes, but if we succeed, they will be remembered as legends.
Welcome to the DC TV report for the week ending Saturday, February 10th, 2018. I'm Edward O'Hare, nickname to be determined.
And I'm Sara, academic by day, freelance writer by night.
We're here to bring you recaps, news, and commentary for all live-action television shows based on DC Comics.
And we have 5 new episodes for you this week.
5 new episodes.
As with, I feel like we've been doing for months and months now, it is 4 CW shows and 1 Fox show, and you can guess which ones they are because they don't change.
Yep. Well, until next week.
Until next week, yeah. Which we'll talk about.
Yeah. We had a lot of consistency through January, and that carried over into the first week of February. It's pretty good episodes this week.
Yeah, I feel like all the shows that I struggled with a little bit have been course correcting, and one of the shows that I've been struggling with continues to struggle. There's one of them I'm actually not speaking to right now. And it rhymes with schmarrow.
Oh, okay.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. But yeah.
So we're going to have a lighter week next week because of the Olympics, which, based on our brief conversation about it, Ed, off air, you are not a fan of the Olympics. Tell me, why do you hate your country?
I'll be honest. I've just been so absorbed lately. I did not realize that they were on.
Oh, sure.
I actually thought they started next week.
Well, and that's they started last night, and then the opening. Well, I'm sorry. We're recording this, they had started the night before, and then the opening ceremony is as we're recording actually right now. So they haven't been quite as hyped. You're forgiven.
Mm-hmm.
You're forgiven.
Yes.
I absolve you.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Usually I'm watching figure skating with my mother, and by that I mean I'm in the room while she's
tolerating.
Yeah.
So you and my husband are the same. The things you do for the women in your lives. Okay, fine.
Yeah,
I want to have that on TV.
Although I do always find it intriguing, the French judges, the controversy that always goes up, between, the Russians are always technically savvy, but they have no passion.
They're blocks of concrete. They don't understand the artistry of the French skaters.
Yeah.
Well, I have a lot of friends who are very excited about the Olympics on social media, and honestly, that's half of my enjoyment, is watching people I enjoying those things. My friend Tanya actually has downloaded a GIF maker so she can make GIFs of the best stuff that she sees on the Olympics.
Oh, wow.
And she's used it a couple of times to devastating effect so far. And we're very early into it. So I'm real excited for what these Olympic Games hold for us.
Nice. Yeah. And one quick thing, I do want to mention, Sara, you were featured on the most recent episode of Gotham Lights. Orville Lights.
Oh yes, Orville Lights. Yes, I had a great time talking to Stefan Henno about the first episode of Orville Lights that I really enjoyed, which was episode 4.
Yes.
So I was pleased that they invited me, and we talked about my complicated feelings about Seth MacFarlane and how much I enjoyed the tone of this episode and the more kind of black and white cut and dry storytelling of that episode than some of the other ones. And I make it sound like not much fun, but it really, really was a lot of fun.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun. I was on the week before. And I listened to your episode earlier today, and it was a lot of fun to listen to. Do check that out. It's on the Gotham Lights feed. But while Gotham is on hiatus right now, they've decided to just review Orville episodes because, why not?
Why not? Well, and it's brilliant. I mean, it's Orville's a nice compact show. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of things to discuss with it. There's a lot of different levels you can talk about. So I think that's brilliant.
Yeah.
Like what would happen if when DC shows are on hiatus, we just were like, let's do some Marvel.
I don't want to jump ahead of things. Let's not get hasty. Let's not, I don't want to get people's hopes up, because I remember at one point when I was doing this, when the DC TV report was just a lowly mini segment on the Wicked Theory podcast. I think it was Thomas K was complaining that I wasn't recapping Dark Matter on the Sci-Fi Channel. Just because, I think it was just doing Preacher at that point. It's like, just do some sci-fi shows. Those, it's not DC, but you should watch those too.
But it's genre. Well, I feel like if we were to do Marvel, we'd have to be the Bizarro version of ourselves because it's like backwards DC. Yeah.
Bob used to always say, "You should do a Marvel, TV report," and I'm like, "Yeah, you could do that whenever you want, Bob."
Enjoy that. But real talk, I'm excited for Black Panther.
I am too. 1 week away. I got to figure out, because I have Movie Pass, and the whole point to Movie Pass is you get them the same day. But I'm afraid now with all these pre-sales that it might be sold out.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Camp out. That's the only. Pitch a tent in front of the theater.
Yeah.
Do what you have to do.
Something like that. All right. Let's you ready to jump right in? Let's do some.
Oh yes. Yes, I am. All right.
So we're gonna kick it off with Lucifer. Season 3, episode 14. My Brother's Keeper. Ella discovered her brother Jay to be implicated in the murder of a high-end diamond merchant. Dr. Linda flipped out when Charlotte showed up in her office for therapy. Lucifer suggested to Marcus they go to Amenadiel for help learning about Marcus's curse. Last-minute reveal, despite pleads and warnings from Lucifer, Amenadiel refused to help Marcus and incur God's wrath.
Yes, indeed. Did you know that Lucifer has crude drawings etched into his precious gemstones?
Evidently.
So this episode was all about siblings, right? You've got the Lucifer Amenadiel, you've got Ella and her brother Evil Lopez, as Lucifer dubs him. You've got, of course, the fallout from the Cain thing with Abel. That actually, so I, as a reminder, if you're just joining us or if I haven't said it enough, I recap Lucifer for EW.com. And I did have to Google which brother was older. I had 10 years of Lutheran schooling. 10 years. And I had to Google that. I feel
14 years of Catholic school.
Did you know which one was older?
Yeah, I did.
So either the extra 4 years made a difference or Catholics are better than Lutherans. Let's talk about that for a half an hour.
Please don't.
Martin Luther was I'm going to let you finish, Ed, but Martin Luther was the best religious dude.
Yeah, let's stop right now. Please.
Anyway, but yeah, so a lot of sibling conflict tonight this week on that episode, which I liked. This didn't really stand out for me as much as some other episodes this season. It was fine. It was serviceable. I enjoyed it, but it wasn't a step above for me. Am I being too harsh here?
No, I thought it was interesting. I learned a lot of stuff about the diamond industry that might not be true.
I know the micro numbers are true.
Yes. Yeah, and I thought that was interesting, that Jay had this ability to somehow erase that and then redo those numbers.
It feels like you'd be reducing the size of the diamond because you'd have to shave that off, I would think. And I'm not sure you'd want to shrink the diamond too much, but maybe it's all so microscopic at that point that it doesn't make that big a difference with the cut clarity. I did like that Chloe got all of her diamond knowledge from Real Housewives episodes. That's how she was able to turn herself into some sort of demanding, I want the best diamonds type customer.
Yes. Yeah. And, Now, were you kind of surprised that it took Lucifer this long to turn to Amenadiel for help?
Yeah, you would think that would have been for as committed as Lucifer was to kind of sticking his thumb in God's eye.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like he'd been kind of lax about it. The joke was funny that, oh yeah, I've been researching by watching the Da Vinci Code and the sequel. It's funny, but I feel like he would have applied himself a little bit more, maybe, just to stick it to God. And I would think Amenadiel would be, but they left things and they have not been in the best place this season. So maybe he was kind of trying to avoid it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was kind of strange that he was only being brought into the situation now.
Yeah, and I also did think it was funny when Charlotte shows up in Dr. Linda's office that you realize that that Dr. Linda has not met Charlotte this season.
Yes, and she was appropriately speechlessly terrified.
Yes.
So I thought that plot line gave Lucifer a chance to be his best, most mature self, and we see that so rarely. And I really enjoyed him telling Linda, this is not Charlotte's fault. She is an innocent. You were an innocent. Try to help her. I when he has those unexpected moments, I cavell a little. On the flip side, Lucifer telling Pierce that he's lucky he got to kill his brother is hella insensitive, even by Lucifer standards.
Yeah.
Sore subject, Lucifer.
Yeah.
How about Trixie and Maze?
Ooh.
Trixie and Maze. How about Ella and Maze? There's Trixie and Ella in their matching sushi shirts. Adorable. And then there's Ella and Maze. Well, and there's Trixie and Maze. I'm going to keep saying those words until you stop me.
That's right. Yeah, because Ella hired Maze to help find Jay before the cops did.
Yes.
And it's funny to see Maze in her element as a bounty hunter. Like, she really is born for that job.
Oh, she's so good. Well, and what I loved was Ella saying, "Oh, siblings are so important." Maze saying, "Oh, I have thousands and they tortured me." And Ella's like, "Yeah, it really feels like that sometimes, doesn't it?" Just the cross purposes that both of them are being very earnest and honest, but they're just talking right past each other.
Yeah. I thought that was a lot of fun. I wish they'd find a way to weave Maze better into the main story in these episodes.
Agreed. I hope that we see more of her, because she was off on maternity leave, and so I'm hoping that at the back half of the season she'll be a little more integrated and a little less one-off, drop in and drop out.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah. It's weird. It feels like it feels like the show's very compartmentalized. Like you have all of these factions of people, and I'm hoping that the Kane story brings it together a little bit more. Yeah,
because we haven't seen Linda in quite a long time, and when she has shown up, it's been very brief. I guess she's not been a major player, but I feel like we're getting smaller tastes of some of these supporting characters, and I'd just like them to be a little bit more central.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or maybe I don't like spending quite as much time with Kane as we do with Pierce, and so I'd rather spend it with more compelling characters.
Yeah, I don't know. The last couple of weeks, I've been digging that. I've been digging that story. There wasn't a lot of ground covered in this episode, but I thought the last two episodes before this, you had a lot more ground. I was thinking that it was getting okay. We've got a plot line going here. We've got a story. We know where we're going, and it just really hasn't come together yet.
It's getting better. It's on the right swing, but I enjoyed the reveal that Amenadiel is the one who put the mark of Cain on Cain's arm. That was, it was nice to see them exercise those feelings kind of after all this time. They exercised those feelings by punching each other. I did enjoy when Pierce ended up with an entire broken liquor bottle like sticking out of his abdomen. So that was a good fight. Good fight scene.
Yeah. Any news for this week?
Oh, but I did want to say I love Lucifer being big brother for Ella. Before we move on, I liked when he threatened her bad big brother and said, "Don't you ever disappoint her." And again, moments of maturity, I guess. Threatening somebody is maturity from Lucifer are always welcome.
Yeah, our buddy Dan Evans on Twitter did mention that. Our buddy Redbeard was tweeting that at us. He did like that scene as well.
It was a good one. Yeah. News-wise, like most of the shows we're talking about this week, everybody's taking an Olympics nap for the most part. So Lucifer will be back on February 26th when the games come to an end. And when that show returns, it is going to send Lucifer and Chloe undercover at a high school reunion, which I am excited about. Apparently Lucifer's alter ego is a bit nerdy. And there's going to be some flirting with old high school flames that might lead to some jealousy, which I'm hoping leads to, we've been promised a love triangle of sorts. And I feel like that the love angle in that relationship has been backburnered pretty heavily this season. So I'm wondering if that's going to jumpstart it a little bit.
Yeah.
We shall see. At any rate, relive all the fun and not at all awkwardness of your high school reunion with Lucifer on February 26th.
All right. Okay, I think now it's time for Supergirl. Season 3, Episode 13. Both sides now. The DEO captured a world killer named Julia, a.k.a. Purity, and Alex and Kara argued over the best way to treat her. Mon-El asked John and Wynn for help recharging the Legion spaceship's power source, and it soon became evident that Mon-El and Imra's marriage is not so lovey-dovey. Samantha took Ruby ice skating, went rain, and abandoned her. Last-minute reveal, Samantha broke down in front of Lena and flashed red eyes for a moment, but Lena promised to help her figure out what's wrong.
Lena was at her full Luthor powers this week, I thought. You could tell because she had donned a kind of fur coat that signaled the return to her ruthless ambition, and I welcome it.
Yeah. I mean, I think Samantha is a horrible parent.
I mean, it's not her fault. I think when she's there, she's amazing.
Yeah.
But she abandons her daughter, and that's not good.
Yeah, but how'd you like to get that call?
Oh, my God.
How'd you like to get that call from your, your number two's daughter? My mom just left me at an ice skate rink, and I don't know what to do.
For a CEO, Lena has a lot of free time.
Yes.
To pick people up and hang out drinking wine. And I don't know. I've been conditioned by the media to think of CEOs as busy, powerful, have underlings for that kind of thing people. I feel like Lena would have sent a driver, pick her up, deliver her someplace, buy her, I don't know, pizza, whatever. I have to get back to work. That's what a CEO would do.
Yeah. Like, what's going on here? What's this is...
So the question I have is, does Lena actually know what's going on with Sam? Does she know about Rain, or does she have some other diagnosis in mind that's going to be wrong?
Oh, no. I don't think she has any idea what's wrong. I think she just thinks that she can help her.
Okay. Well, she said something like, I know who you are. I know how to, what did she say? I know how to fix this. She seemed to think she had some kind of answer. And she has seen Rain. I mean, she's been in the newsroom when Rain burst into Catco. So surely at some point somebody's like, that bone structure, those lips, that coloring. Oh,
no,
you're Rain.
No. Sarah, she wears a mask, so
Oh, right. Once you put on black leather and cover up the skin around your eyes, you're a different person.
Yeah. It's documented. But no. Now, I did with the Purity storyline. I do like the idea that they're playing around with these world killers, that their alter egos have no idea what's going on.
Yes.
That they just know that something's wrong. That they and I thought that Alex and Kara had an interesting argument going back and forth, as to whether or not you have to punish Julia in order to stop purity. Whether or not Julia is actually inside purity, because Alex thought that she was faking the whole time, right?
Yeah, she did. She thought that Julia is a good actress and that Kara was falling for it. I felt like the show sort of cheated and made Kara and Alex the most extreme versions of themselves in those early scenes, where Kara is the most like, talk to me, share your feelings. She used Julia's name more times than a hostage negotiator on her first day. Hey, Julia, I'm here. It's me, Julia. Julia, tell me what you need, Julia. Hey, Julia. And then Alex is just like, I will fucking pull your spine out through your mouth. And, I feel like it was just so extreme from either woman. And they both, that's how they approach things, but never quite that rapidly on either side. They did it for dramatic purposes, I know. And it made the end effective. I liked when Alex came around and was like, okay, Julia's in there. You don't have to do this. And it made that moment affecting for me, but both characters were a little extreme, I thought, in those early interrogation scenes. A little bit.
Yeah. And I think also one of the things that was weird is like, I feel like John should have been there.
Yeah.
I think it was weird that it was like, okay, we've spent all this time, we've got all our resources to finally capture this person, and we're just going to throw you two in an interrogation room, and no one is going to watch.
Yeah.
And while that, I'm gonna help someone with a carburetor.
And don't forget the Martian mead or whatever it was.
Yes.
I'm gonna help someone with a carburetor. Got my socket wrench. I thought Julia / Purity was scary. I love that all the world killers seem come equipped with the Shakespearean villain dialogue setting.
Yes.
But I enjoyed Purity's sort of operatic threats, asking, will you be upset when I grind your bones to dust and rip out your soft parts? And like, dang, woman.
Wow.
I know. So I enjoyed that very much, and the flipping back and forth like that. So it didn't feel like a loss, I think, when you end up with Julia in the fortress of Sanctuary and sort of begging for not her life, but herself. I don't want this. I don't want this. And it really, it made you feel the loss of the woman who was jamming out to Lisa Loeb in her apartment in the beginning.
Yeah.
Which, same girl. Same. That's my karaoke jam too.
Now, okay. So I mentioned before that we found out that Mon-El and Imra's marriage. We found out the exact circumstances of that marriage. Were you buying it?
No, honestly, no. Okay. So it's an arranged marriage. They did it because Mon-El was sad and Kara was in the past, and it could save a lot of people. Sure. I mean, I buy that Mon-El's development has been such that he would sacrifice like that, I guess. What I don't buy is that the couple that we saw when they first appeared again as a couple were lovey-dovey, touchy-feely. He's so awesome. She hung the moon. And so for him to then go to, I'm content, that doesn't ring true with what we've seen. Also, dang, I'm content. That is damning with some real faint praise. So I don't know. Do you feel that way too?
Yeah. I thought it was. I thought it was a little forced. It seemed like a sharp left turn.
Mm-hmm.
Seemed like a really
well. It seemed like a grasping to any kind of plot contrivance that they could find if they want to somehow get Mon-El and Kara back together. But honestly, I'm not sure how you, even with that backstory, if they break up and Mon-El goes back to Kara, that still that's not going to be a good look for anybody, I don't think. So
yeah. And this episode also, raised a herring question. Where is Brainiac 5?
Where, in my notes, whither Brainiac 5?
Yeah.
Where did he go? We had that great introduction to him when Kara was stuck in her head.
Mm-hmm.
And since then, he's been kind of a fussy dilettante to Needle Win, and that's really been it. So I was kind of hoping for a little more. I mean, this is a show with a big cast.
Yeah, I feel like the second Mon-El tries to plug in the thing that John gave him into the ship, Brainy would have been like, "Give me that, give me that."
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Where it seems to me that he would be definitely overseeing work on the ship. So I'm not sure. I don't quite understand what the show does with its people. I also feel like John hasn't really had much to do the last several episodes in a strange way. I was glad to see him. I was really glad to see him in the full on Martian Manhunter gear this week. Yeah. That was fun. We don't get to see that often enough.
Yeah, and it's weird. Like he shows up to the fight, and then Rain shows up, and they have a little bit of a scuffle, and then it's just she just automatically gets away with Julia.
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, that's another thing. I think the Martian Manhunter effect is very similar to like Firestorm on Legends, where.
Do you mean expensive?
Yes, it's expensive. It's expensive, so they can't bring it out every episode. But when they do, it's always fun.
Yeah, I'm always excited to see it. I liked the quartet of Supergirl, Mon-El, Alex, and Martian Manhunter surrounding Purity with their. I mean, let's be honest. At this point, Purity was like Kryptonian canary, cry black canary. So they had the sonic dampeners on them, and I liked the way they sort of. She was so sure of herself that she could get away, and then our quartet of good surprised her with, sucker, you can't get us that way. So this is the last episode we're going to get before Supergirl goes on its kind of strangely unexplained hiatus number 2 of the season. So we're not going to get any Supergirl again until well into April. It's a good cliffhanger to end on because we have the Sam realizes something is really wrong with Ruby, or Lena realizes something really wrong with Sam and offers to fix her. And then one thing I really did find interesting about the whole Mon-El Imra thing was Imra and Brainiac 5 had cooked up some other mission that Mon-El didn't know about, and she's prepared to tell Mon-El about that. So what is their real mission? And why is the show retconning like crazy whatever is going on with the Legion?
I don't know what to tell you. I mean, the fact there's only 3 Legionnaires on this show. Now,
how big is the Legion in the comics? I assume pretty large.
Dozens.
Okay.
Maybe hundreds.
So roughly the size of the Supergirl cast right now.
Yeah. No, like triple that. Like literally every single superpower that you can think of, and then about 12 or 15 more. Like it gets so bad. Like when you read a Legion comic book, they have to, whenever have a description each time a new character shows up with their name and their power set.
Is it the role-playing stats?
Yeah.
Strength, toughness, intelligence.
Yeah. Like that has to be in every Legion comic just because there's too many characters to keep track of. And each one of them has their own teen angst thing going on.
Aw, bless.
Yes. Yeah, I told you. It's teen
angst. Are they young?
Yeah, they're meant to be teenagers. They're meant to be like college age.
Huh. I guess I didn't know that about the Legion. Interesting.
Yeah. Because the whole thing is, the original setup was that these were kids who heard about the legend of Superman and decided to go back in time to see if he was real, and met Superboy and brought him back to the future for adventures.
No, I'm just getting confused with Young Justice.
Yeah.
And I happened to catch a Teen Titans Go episode on TV today and was extra confused because Cyborg was in a Green Lantern outfit, and I was just like, what? Have I never noticed this before? They were all dressed like different. Oh. Raven was dressed like Wonder Woman.
They did like a Justice League takeoff?
They did. They had Star Sapphire was dressed like the Flash, and of course Robin was dressed like Batman. Beast Boy was
okay,
a Martian Manhunter. So yes. Anyway, woo. Sorry.
Yeah.
Back to Supergirl. I did love that Purity called her fellow world killers her sistren. That was good use of the word sistren. You don't hear that enough, and it made me happy.
No. I wasn't sure it was a word, and then.
Listen, if Purity says it's a word, it is a word.
Well, yeah, I mean, you have brethren, obviously. Yeah, they're sistren would go alongside that. Yeah.
It's a logical takeoff. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. Any news for Supergirl this week?
A little bit of news. So we have Odette Annabelle, who plays Sam, did an interview where she indicated that Sam might not be the first person to find out that she's Rain. So that indicates that, I mean, it could be Lena, who is the one who figures it out first and is like, ooh, how do I tell her? It doesn't say that it's Lena, but that seems like a pretty good speculation because she's the one who's clued in first. Although I suppose Alex also has been working on it. So let's see. Melissa Benoist did an interview with Covateur.com. And talked about what playing Supergirl has meant to her. And that, for one thing, the job pushed her to stand up for herself in ways that she never would have without the bravery to do so before. And I am a sucker for how positive representations in the media can change things for people. And I guess that includes the people playing the positive representations. So good on you, Melissa. Also, she says her superpower is that she is a dog whisperer. So give her all your dogs. And then BuddyTV.com had an article with theories about who the third world killer might be. And I gotta be honest, each idea was worse than the one that came before. And to be fair, Buddy TV says crazy theories. So they acknowledge that it's kind of nuts. But the first one is Imra, who comes from the far, far future and is from another planet. Yeah. Like, I mean, Saturn girl. So, but I will say, if she were world killer, if she were pestilence, that would get her out of her marriage to Mon-El, presumably because she'd be evil. And that's taking the Alias way out when they paired off Vaughn with Lauren and everybody wanted the showrunners' heads because he was meant to be with Sydney. And so they had to make Lauren evil real fast because otherwise we were going to burn down the world. I was one of those people. I acknowledge it. The second
wishful thinking, not going to happen. Next.
The second suggestion is Kara, which, what?
No.
She is a daughter of Krypton. Like,
yeah, again, it makes no sense. We already know where she came from. Next.
And then the third one is Lena. She's the only one that kind of sort of, because at least she's a normal Earth person as far as we know from that time period. But Lillian is all about, I feel like Lillian's all about Luthor blood. And if Lena was adopted, we would have seen that in their relationship. No?
Yeah. Also, if she was an alien, her mom would have tried to kick her off the Earth last season.
That's a really good point. So yeah, I don't know. That was, you should feel bad about your ideas.
So I poo-poo on all of that.
Exactly. But I will be curious, is it going to be somebody we've met before? Economy of characters. Who have we encountered who, even casually, who could be the third person? I can't think of a human who's bopped along who we're like, oh, yeah, sure, it's surprise, it's James Olsen. I don't see that happening, but who knows?
Yeah. Miss Tessmarker?
Ooh, there you go. Can you imagine if you're that actress? You've been getting people coffee for the last 2.5 seasons. Now we're going to put you in black leather and you're going to fly. That would be amazing. So that's it for Supergirl.
All right. On to The Flash. Season 4, episode 13. True Colors.
Shining through.
Okay. Barry found himself in the secret meta block in Iron Heights with the other bus metas waiting to be sold to Aminette Black. The team tried to sabotage the deal after Ralph discovered he could shapeshift, and the Thinker and the Mechanic watched on the sidelines waiting to pounce. Last minute reveal, after the Mechanic started second-guessing her partner, the Thinker, now in Becky Sharp's body, drugged the Mechanic, trying to dance away her worries. Not a fan?
Okay. Things I liked. I really liked having Becky Sharp back.
Yes.
I like her. I like Hazard. I like Becky. Very, very much. The instant she was like, I'm going to go straight, I'm going to help Barry, I'm going to be a good person and a good influence, I was like, well, nice knowing you, Becky Sharp. That's not going to end well. And I was right. And now apparently she's a megalomaniac spouse rohypnoling creep show. Great.
Yeah.
So that's disappointing. I don't know if there's any way to get Becky back. I'm not quite sure what happened with the Doc Ock tentacles when they came out and got all the Iron Heights escapees from the DeVoe chair. It didn't look reversible, but who knows?
Yeah.
But I'm sad if that's it for Hazard, if that's it for Becky. That's sad. And I also thought that was kind of a fast way to dispatch with everybody on the bus. That surprised me that they wiped them off the board so quickly.
Yeah. And I wasn't quite sure if they killed them or if they just took their powers away or...
I got a sense that it was killed because everybody really did plop to the ground.
Yeah.
And I also feel like they all know Barry's identity now. So they have to be dead. You can't have that many people running around who know Barry's identity, can you?
Oh, that's true. That's true.
I mean, they have to be dead. Mm-hmm. That's just the rules of comic books.
Yeah. I thought it was a shame. I did like that arc. I did, it's funny. I liked the camaraderie between all the bus metas.
I enjoyed it. I know it was a little rushed and a little kind of thuddingly obvious with the characterizations because you had a lot of people who had to kind of reestablish who they were really quickly. I enjoyed it. I liked the prison break. I liked all of them working together. I dug that. When you look at Arrow has a similar kind of villain team up this season. This was so much more fun, but they're different tones. I mean, it's kind of unfair to compare the shows, but I enjoyed this a lot. And I'm sad that it was only for like half an episode. Yeah.
And I think, it's interesting to see, like, I mean, we were commenting last week, I think that like Marley, like we're going with the mechanic with Marley's and being like, now you're starting to realize that, that the thinker might have a screw loose. But I think, I do like the idea that, he doesn't really understand how much this is, changing all of these bodies and getting all these new powers is affecting him. And he's starting to get sloppy.
Well, and for somebody who, I felt like for a while they were kind of setting up a DeVoe Marlize versus Barry and Iris couple off, who loves their husband more and who's willing to do more. I feel like DeVoe is getting sloppy also with Marlize's feelings. Obviously, I mean, he's drugging her into submission. Clearly, that's not how you treat anybody, let alone your partner. But I thought, that to me is actually kind of a cool way to show the progression of these two people love each other. They're crazy about each other. They'll sacrifice for each other. And now look what he's doing. Look how far he's gone. So it is a twisted type of character development. It doesn't mean I like watching it at all, especially with Becky, because come back.
I'll say this. The fact that she's still physically alive gives me a little hope that maybe Becky is in there somewhere.
So if we're talking about science and how things could do or undo on this show, let's talk for a second about how Ralph can turn himself into other people, including vocally and skin pigment. So this is a show that doesn't care about rules or science, which is fine. It's a comic book show. That's fine. But if they can do that with Ralph, they can fix Becky for me as a special favor.
Yeah. It's weird. I've got to go back in and look because I didn't think that was part of his power set. That might be something new.
I got a sense from the stuff that I read that that's not a comic book thing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, because that's more like Plastic Man's powers. I mean, he doesn't change into people, but he does a lot more goofy shapes and things like that. Elongated Man literally just elongates. But that it's back and forth. It's not anything. Plastic Man's always like these goofy shapes, and there's always like a joke or a gag that goes into it. With Ralph and but there's always that kind of humor there. It is a trope that you see a lot. With impersonating stuff. I just remember like Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets with the polyjuice potion.
Yes.
That kind of thing where like once stuff starts falling apart and you're trying to get it together. I thought that aspect of this was really was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it didn't make any sense to me how the voice changed when Ralph changed, but I enjoyed watching it and I enjoyed the performance. And I always like an actor playing another actor playing that actor, if that makes sense. So that's kind of stuff that's catnip to me. So
yeah. Well, and I think one thing that they didn't touch on, the reason it works so well with his friend, with his buddy in the beginning, Earl, is because he knows him really well and he's been around him a lot. Whereas Warden Wolf, I don't even know if he's met him in person. He's just going off of a picture and, maybe an audio clip, where I feel like if he'd hung out with him for like a couple weeks, he might have been able to nail him down better.
Yeah, it just, as with so much of The Flash, I understood what they were doing, but it didn't make a ton of the logic to me. But, and speaking of, I don't even want to bring it up because I don't want to yell about this again, but that's not how murder convictions are undone. That's not how it works. Like the judge would be like, okay, this is most unusual. Let's get some DNA testing up in this bitch. They're not going to just... Also, that was the same judge, right? That had heard the case in the first place?
Yes. Yeah.
That's
you would have a
not
different
how
appeal.
appellates courts work. So it's just talk to a lawyer, Flash writers. Find a lawyer. Call a lawyer and be like, hey, we write for the Flash. Would you be willing to, we'll pay you like whatever your hourly rate is. Just give us 15 minutes. Can we do this? No. Can we do this? No. Can we do this? No. Okay, cool. Thanks.
Yeah. And what happens like tomorrow when they go to do a follow-up with Clifford DeVoe and he's nowhere to be found?
Good. And he's never seen again. They're like, oh, shoot, we left Barry out. That's too bad. No. Oh, well, you win some, you lose some.
Yeah.
Justice.
One other pet peeve I will say is Ralph also had a moment in here where he's like, I screwed up. I gotta quit. I can't do this anymore. And I feel like, well, no, you got past that last week. Like
hasn't he got past that a couple of times?
Yeah. Like it's like, okay, but I mean, it's not last week, but in Elongated Night Rises. I feel like, okay,
which is an episode I enjoyed.
Yeah, but like, we're past that now. Like this shouldn't be an issue anymore. It's like, okay, I screwed up.
In legal parlance,
I screwed up. I hate myself, but I'm not leaving the team.
In legal parlance, asked and answered. Like, we have covered this. And I have some bad news. The show's taking some time off for the Olympics. It will be back on February 27th. And according to the synopsis, Ralph struggles to be a hero. Again, some more.
Yeah.
I know Ralph is a character that some fans online have a hard time embracing because he has been sort of aggressively unpleasant. I kind of like him. I like the friction in the pretty much happy Flash team. And I like that they've been deepening him recently, but they have got to stop making him, I don't know if I want to do this and be, we've decided he's going to be a hero. Let's move. He's got the suit. We gave him the good costume.
Yeah.
Let's move forward.
Yeah. I don't mind him. I think it's a lot of fun. I think, I think you just got to let that character breathe a little bit more. And it's like, okay, now we've got him. It's time for him to show up, and he's going to have that consistency.
And I'm also really looking forward to him meeting his Sue. I understand Sue is his big love in the comics, and my romance-loving heart cannot wait to see Ralph womanizing jerk Ralph fall hard, however that happens. And I don't know what season that's going to happen in, but I really hope they give it to us. Although part of me is sad because I like Ralph and Caitlin. I like the two of them together. I loved Killer Frost. I loved Caitlin finally taking some control over her powers there and turning into Killer Frost herself to do a thing she wanted to accomplish. I thought that was great.
Oh, this was something I tweeted out through the DC TV Report account. I thought that scene was amazing. I thought that's the most original thing they've done with Killer Frost, like in the series ever. and like I saw, on Twitter and in the hashtags, people were upset about it. Like they just thought it was stupid. And I was like, what are you talking about? So,
I mean, there's no pleasing everybody. And I try to remind myself, people come to shows for different reasons and they like different aspects of different shows. So if somebody likes or dislikes something that I disliked or liked, it's fine. We're all fans. We like the same thing. That's cool. But it's too bad. I liked this. Killer Frost has been a little... Caitlin has been a victim of Killer Frost and has been unable to control it for so long that her making the decision to do this, she had to like cut her hand to do it, but sure, whatever, it healed. I like that a lot. But it occurred to me, I like that pairing quite a bit, and it's a shame that Ralph has a comic love because Caitlin's had some bad luck, and the two of them are such an odd couple. I would have enjoyed seeing that, and maybe they'll give it to us. I mean, God knows these shows don't follow the comic books all the time. So
yeah. I think there's something else in store for Caitlin. I feel like you sound
like a fortune teller. I see great love for you, Caitlin. I see a man, tall, blonde.
I actually think I was, I wish that they'd given her more time away from the show before she came back this season. Because I would have liked to see that character go off on some adventures and get her soul and then come back.
Yeah, she didn't have much of a walkabout. Yeah. That's true. Before we move past the recap part, I did like Barry sciencing his way out of prison. I liked that he got to do whatever he did with chemistry to eat through the part of the cell block that he was in. I enjoy when he's not a superhero, he's just smart.
Oh yeah, you mean
because honestly, Barry Allen is not always smart. So yeah, I enjoyed that.
You mean he watched MacGyver?
Yes, he MacGyvered that.
Yeah.
I need hot sauce and I need a paper clip and I need some chewing gum. Let's do this.
Let's make it happen. Yeah, no. I thought that was great. Using his tech savvy. I'd like to see more of that going forward. But and I also did like, it's funny, you think at the end like, oh no, they're gonna find him there and he's gonna get blamed for everything, and he's like, oh wait a minute, I could just go back to my cell. And no one will be the wiser.
How were they going to explain when Barry was just gone? Had the warden's plans gone through, Iris would have asked some questions. How was that going to work?
I don't know.
He died. That's not going to satisfy Iris.
Yeah. I don't think he was thinking that far ahead.
Oh my God. I don't think anybody was thinking that far ahead this season with this plot line. I guess long story short, Barry's out of prison. So yay.
What news we got this week?
Just one little factoid here. MarieClaire.com did an interview with Candace Patton, who plays Iris. And one of the things she said was in store for Iris is she can't wait for Iris to get back to journalism. So I thought that was interesting. I kind of thought she was going to be Teen Flash leader for life, but apparently, she made it sound like Iris was going to go back to journalism.
Please, could you do it now? Could we do it like right now? Could we please just like, I think, because it's like, that's what that character is meant for. That's, I like the whole sentiment they're going for, but it just like, the background of that character does not prepare her for the types of things that she's doing. Like even at one point when, I think at this point again, she was going to be like, okay, everything's going. Let me just grab some kind of ray gun and go out there and help Barry. And it's like, what are you doing?
Although to be fair, the background of that character does not prepare her for journalism either. She took a journalism class and had a blog for like 2 weeks in a semester. And then she worked for the paper. So that's not how that works. Also, Iris unprepared for everything. Mm-hmm. Not her fault. It's the show. Do Better by Iris show. Okay. Ooh, sorry, Flash. I really do like you. Fix Becky and all is forgiven. Okay.
Yeah, I think, could that be a hashtag save Becky?
Hashtag save Becky.
Hashtag save Becky. Hashtag save Hazard.
Hashtag
Please.
hope for Hazard.
Hashtag hope for Hazard. All right. Moving on to Black Lightning. Season 1, Episode 4, Black Jesus. After a student overdosed on a new drug called Green Light, Jefferson worked with Gamby to try and find the source of the drug. Anissa used her powers to lash out against green light dealers and contemplated the consequences. Jennifer's desire to be there for Khalil during his recovery forced her to make hard choices. Tobias Whale confirmed that he didn't actually kill Black Lightning and scrambled to salvage his reputation. Last minute reveal, Tobias tried to convince Khalil that Black Lightning was to blame for his severed spine and offered to help him kill his pain.
And probably other people along with it in the end.
Yeah, well,
that's part of the deal. By the way, I think you I don't think this is intentional, but the way you said Gamby, it kind of sounded like he was a Martian. Gamby.
Oh,
like
sorry.
John. No, it was funny. I was just like, wait, is he? Oh, no. That was just Ed talking. So I love the not unexpected, but I love the little bits of humor in this show because this isn't the Flash. This isn't the light bouncy show. But when the episode opens with the kid in the bathroom overdosing on the drug, and you just see Pierce get this look on his face like, I'm going to have to electrocute this child. This is going to have to happen. Fine. I really enjoyed that. Being a principal didn't work. I will electrocute him.
Yeah. I mean, this, I am really not liking the fact that Black Lightning follows Flash. I don't think that's a good mix.
What do you think it would be better following, though?
I think,
is it a better companion for Arrow?
I think it would be better paired with Arrow.
Yeah.
Because I think just the nature of those shows. I think, CW, if you're going to pair up your shows, it's got to be Supergirl, iZombie, Flash Legends. The Flash Legends pairing worked very well. I think they complemented each other well. Mm-hmm. And I think Black Lightning would complement Arrow better. But because I
think it's all about ratings, isn't it? Yeah, because Arrow is struggling a little bit and Flash is doing better. And I get it, but no, I get why the CW is doing it, but I agree.
Yeah. I mean, if anything,
they're weird bedfellows.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, have Arrow follow Black Lightning.
Yeah.
But just because, the clash between the tones of these two shows, it's kind of jarring. But no. I thought this was really, really cool. To see, if you're a high school, even the superhero element aside, if you're a high school principal and a new drug is introduced into your community, what can you do? Or even just, even if you're a cop trying to investigate this, it's not just as easy as, oh, let's find the source and arrest that guy and then it's over.
Which I think too often a show like Arrow does. We've seen Arrow, the drug supplies, it's coming into the docks tonight at midnight. We have to be there to stop it. We've shut down the pipeline and then we move on to the next thing. And so I think too many shows solve it in 44 minutes with a neat little bow. And it is no surprise to me that Black Lightning, there's nothing neat, about this kind of storyline. And that's great. I love it. I love the sophistication and the complexity. But it is strange to make that follow the show with the...
Yeah.
I can't do any spoilers for Flash because we're not in that section, but everything that happened this week on the Flash, it's just not a good lead in for the grounded real world things. Of course, this is a dude who also electrocutes people with his hands. So.
Yeah. Now, I think we do need to start up a little award or a segment for the Black Lightning segment, which is the whitest thing Gamby says. Because there's a moment where James Remar says with this completely straight face, oh, yeah, a dealer just overdosed. He broke the number one rule of drug dealing. Don't get high on your own supply.
Don't get high on your own supply.
He said that. He made that joke. And it was, I cannot believe one.
And the whole cast did not turn to the camera and just be like, this guy, am I right?
He actually said that. James Remar, I feel so like if I had been James Remar, I would have turned to that screenwriter and went, no, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that.
I would have
write something else.
I would have turned to him and been like, I am sorry I parked in your parking spot a couple of weeks ago. I apologize. Stop doing this to me.
I'm not saying that. It's I couldn't believe it. Oh, and I mean, there were a couple of little clunky moments in this episode. It was still great. It was still great, but I thought the stuff with Jefferson in 2 bits.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that scene was a little clunky to just like have him show up at this bar randomly alone. And then have a conversation, and then literally 5 minutes later for him to show up at the same place in his Black Lightning gear and interrogate him. I thought that was a little convenient.
Yeah, I do think surely he would have been like, wait, aren't you the same guy? But you know what I did like about that was it shows the way Black Lightning, even if he's there to challenge you and to be like, stop what you're doing, people are still fans of his because they're just like, it's Black Lightning, let me get a selfie. I thought that was kind of cool. Like when Supergirl shows up or when the Flash shows up, the bad guys aren't like, oh, cool, Flash, take a picture. They're just like, oh man, this guy. but that's such a cool way that they've negotiated. How is he a superhero? And when he says, I'm not going to call the cops, just knock it off. It's a different kind of show, and it's a different kind of relationship that the superhero has with the community. And I love it. That I liked a lot. But yeah, I agree. It was a little, well, this didn't work. let me go put on the light up suit. Nobody will notice. I'm picturing him behind the building, like hopping around trying to get his leg into one of the skinny legs of his pants. Keep going, keep walking, look away.
That's funny. yeah, that's a tough get-up. You can't wear that under your suit.
No, I feel like you wouldn't. What if it glows through your shirt? They're like, what? Why are the Black Lightning things under your? I see it. Oh my god.
Yeah. No, but overall, I did like the direction that this was going.
Lady Eve continues to wear too much jewelry in a mortuary setting.
Oh yeah,
that is too much jewelry when you have body fluids and embalming liquids flying around, lady.
And that was disgusting.
Yes.
That was one of the creepiest moments when you see Will's eyes opening and like, is he talking? And is like, oh no, that's probably exactly what an embalming is like. And that's why they've never shown it on TV, because it's really, really creepy.
And it looked really old school. I mean, I don't know much about embalming, but that looked more old fashioned than I've always imagined it. Maybe that's how they do it, but it looked like kind of throwbacky. I guess my knowledge of embalming exclusively comes from 6 Feet Under and American Gods, and that one mortuary assistant who hit on me that summer. I worked at the newsroom in my hometown, and he used to bring the obit stuff in. So it may not be the best sample size for me, but that still felt old-fashioned to me, the equipment.
Okay.
Reader, I married him. No, I'm kidding.
But yeah. What did you think of Anissa this week?
I continue to love her. I continue to enjoy the way she's testing out her new powers, and she's testing out the new relationship, and the way she kind of is. I'm excited to see this progression. I love that the show has the established superhero and the emerging superhero. I think it's cool to have both of them.
Yeah, and I thought that moment I thought that moment when she punched those 2 guys and they got clocked and like just literally they got the wind knocked out of them and they weren't getting up. And I think that moment she's like, oh
crap.
This is real. Like she realized that this is not a game.
Yeah.
I can, I could kill people, and I need to.
Well, and it's important, she has to figure out the limits of her strength and what she can actually do. And I'm glad that that could have gone a different way where she accidentally kills somebody and then she's guilty for the next 5 episodes. And, I'm maybe they'll still go that route, but I'm pleased that she was able to be like, oh, okay, 911, hi.
Yeah.
Also, costumes coming soon. Right?
Yeah.
She can't keep just pulling the hood up, so makeover. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely. And and that's the other thing is Gamby knows about her now.
Yes.
Or he knows that there's someone. I think he saw the pic. I don't know if he's sure it's Anissa, but he definitely knows that there's another superhero showing up in Freeland. And yeah, and what kind of part he's going to play in that? Because again, we still don't know Gamby's game. We don't know.
Yeah, we don't know his end goal and who he answers to and why he dresses the way he does.
Yeah.
I guess he's just an old man. That's why he dresses the way he does. Okay. Most importantly, Jennifer quit the track team. So how do you feel about that?
Yeah. This is again a really well done storyline that I makes me very uncomfortable. I never expected to see in a superhero show. Like, why are we doing this? I mean, I know why we're doing this, but like, oh, all right. This we're doing this now. Okay. All right. Yeah, again, it's a really well done storyline, but it's not my bag.
Yeah.
So you probably connect with that story a lot more than I
was
do.
going to say it's a little more my bag. Yeah. I mean, high school track team, not super my bag, but the teen girl emotion, boyfriend, God, dad side of it. Yeah, I enjoy that.
Yeah, this is, I had moments where, again, I was the crazy speech and debate nerd in high school, and when one of my friends wanted to quit the team because of their girlfriends, I would immediately start trying to plot to kill their girlfriends. But
no, you can't quit, buddy. You gotta stay on the team, Sam. Come on.
But Harvard's next week.
We've got regionals. We've been practicing so hard.
Yeah.
I don't know why I made you sound like that. No. I'm so sorry.
No. I was more the high pitch. Come on, guys. What are we doing?
You guys, these geek membership cards are super sweet. You got to stick with this.
That Bill does that voice. That's a Bill Sweeney voice.
Actually, my brother does that with the geek membership cards thing. That's a thing we do often. So I'm sure my mom somewhere is twitching because she's like, "Oh God, she's doing the voice. I know it."
All right.
I'm sorry, Black Lightning.
So yeah, and
anyway, poor Khalil.
Poor Khalil. Like, and this is he's gonna get turned into a bad guy. Like, this is, this is interesting.
Although, can I? How hard would it be to be an effective gang member with access issues in terms of ability? Like, how effective what am I trying to say and not be a jerk? If he's in a wheelchair, like, how does that work as a gang? Am I being really short-sighted in effective gang techniques?
Well, no, Tobias is going to teach him how to kill his pain. So,
I assumed that was like metaphorical. I honestly did. Here, put this gun in your waistband. You're going to feel like a big man. That's honestly what I thought we were going for there.
No. I think Tobias Whale has figured out how to grind through and get through. And I don't know if Khalil's going to pick it up right away. But yeah, I don't know. Well, I mean, it might just be that kind of thing where he decides to go after Black Lightning in a different way. You never know.
Yeah,
you never know.
And I don't mean to diminish the ability to achieve what you want. I just that was my first thought was like, how? Yeah. Anyway, we're gonna embrace kill the pain. We're gonna forget the last 3 minutes.
Yeah. Tobias is really scary. Like in this episode,
he is. Oh, yeah. I like this character a lot, and I also like. I love those. You got the big scary piranha in the pond, but then Lady Eve gets her teeth into him and threatens him in kind of a vicious, awful, dehumanizing way, and so he leaves newly energized to do what he needs to do. I love it when your big bad has a bigger bad and is made to feel small. So yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Now he's got a fire under his ass, and he's going to become desperate and dangerous. Yeah, it's going to be something to see.
As long as he doesn't get high on his own supply, we're going to be okay.
Yeah. Oh my God. Oh my god. He actually said James. Oh,
He said that on a national television program.
They made James Remar say that.
Dexter Morgan's dad. Cephalo from the Shannara Chronicles for the two listeners who...
James Remar has to be the nicest guy in the world.
Sure, buddy, I'll say that. Good script, Jim. Good script, Gina. That's great. Good work.
I would have thrown it in their face. and I would have torn out the page and made the writer eat it.
Ed's a nice guy until you give him real white bread dialogue. And then he gets the writing crap.
All right. Was there any news this week?
Speaking of Tobias Whale, he's played by Marvin Jones III, who did an interview with TV Line that was fascinating. And I encourage everybody to look it up. It ran last week. And he talked about growing up as an albino in the Black community and how he was discriminated against. And there was a lot of prejudice against him, and how Tobias Whale, his background is very similar, and how that kind of desire to not be diminished and overlooked feeds into that character's desire for power and for fear and for all of that. And just, it was a really interesting look at something I honestly hadn't thought about before. But he talked about how, beauty standards in America favor blonde, blue-eyed, handsome men. But, he has that, but he has Black features, and how that was a struggle for him in dealing with people as he grew up and as he was auditioning for things, and how that informs the character. So it was a whole new perspective that I hadn't considered before, and very interesting. And truly he's unlike villains we've seen in a long time. So I'm glad he's on the show, and I really am glad I got to read that take on it. TV Line, Marvin Jones III. Give it a look.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Really cool. Yeah. All right. Ooh, we're
long.
Yeah, we're running a little long. So time to pick it up. But coming into the home stretch, one last episode of Arrow. It's season 6, episode 13, The Devil's Greatest Trick. 18 months ago, Caden James balanced his ho-hum job running an international hacktivist group with disappointing his son Owen at every turn. In the present, James gave Oliver 4 hours to prove he didn't murder Owen before he would blow up the whole city. Dinah tried to kill Black Siren, and everyone got upset about it, especially Quentin, who became even more convinced Siren can turn good, even though she's not his daughter. Last minute reveal, Ricardo Diaz admitted to Caden James his plans to take over Star City and killed James while confessing to having Owen murdered.
Okay, can I say your summaries are on fire this week, so thank you. Thank you for your good efforts there. Oh, Arrow. We need to talk, Arrow. You took the best thing you've got going for you this season, other than Felicity and Oliver getting married, and you killed it in a holding cell. We're done.
Okay, there are elements of this I really liked. There were a couple things I really liked about this episode. I liked the 4-hour deadline.
Uh-huh.
I like that this is...
You like a red digital readout counting down?
Yeah. Well, I like that, this isn't sprawling out over a couple of days or a week. It's like, oh no, this is happening right now.
We gotta do this. Yeah.
I like the whole immediacy of this episode. Like, we need to solve this now. It felt like a finale happening in the middle of a season.
Yes.
I like the idea that the Caden James arc stopped. It is a little sudden, but I do like, I love the turn at the end where it's like, oh no, James is not the big bad this season. It's been Richard Dragon the whole time. you know,
Eh.
you know,
It feels very Marvel Netflix to me. I feel like Marvel Netflix has, you think this is going to be the big bad, surprise, they get killed in episode 5 and it's somebody else. And that's very on brand for Marvel Netflix. And it was a surprise, but Diaz/Dragon hasn't been the most compelling of the bad guys. So for that to be revealed and you lose Michael Emerson in the process, that is a hard pill to swallow.
What's the name of the actor who plays Ricardo Diaz?
Kirk Acevedo, and he's good. I've enjoyed Kirk Acevedo very much in other stuff that he's done, Fringe, 12 Monkeys, but they just haven't given him much room to menace beyond that one episode with Diggle's addiction. And so, I don't know, Emerson, everything he does is so brilliant and laden with menace, and I'm just... It was a surprise, and definitely it's something that people were like, wait, what? And if that's what they were going for, great. I'm just sorry that it had to be Michael Emerson who bowed out.
But I will say this, I'm thankful that they ended it sooner rather than letting it drag out too long.
I guess.
I do like the paradigm shift and, the idea now the whole season's wide open again. I thought the flashback stuff wasn't necessary.
I felt like we were seeing Ben Linus in the village with the others on the island before the plane crashed. That's what I was like, aw, look, he's normal.
Yeah, to me that just seemed really corny.
Yeah.
I just like the idea that he's running this international hacktivist group that he's probably on most wanted lists and being pursued by governments everywhere, and he's just treating it like, I'm just I'm just late home from the office.
I think he's just showing up at basketball games. Hey, what's up?
Yeah. Yeah, and that part I just didn't buy.
You know what else I don't buy? Elena / Kojo Sledgehammer is working with Team Arrow. She's not doing anything that Felicity couldn't do. So to me, that means she is only there to remind us who she is to Caden James. So when she's revealed as the ultimate mastermind big bad in 8 episodes, it'll make sense. It's the only reason for her to be there, right?
Yeah, everyone's saying that, but I think if that was the truth, we would have found out
today or this week.
We would find out this week.
Yeah. I don't know. I think they're not done twisting us yet. Twist.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if she's working with Diaz and she was the in that he had that actually got all that footage doctored.
Mm-hmm.
But also if that's the case, then why would she have helped Felicity? Like, what's the purpose in revealing that now? Is it just like
the long game, Ed? The long game. I don't know. But I kept thinking, what is she doing that Felicity couldn't do? Why is she here? And the only thing I could think was setting her up so when she's revealed as the mastermind, oh, but you've been working by my side all these weeks,
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I think it was just she was an interesting character from last season that they wanted to keep hanging around.
Yeah, and I don't disagree with that. I enjoyed her character. I just this episode she didn't quite feel as essential.
Yeah,
maybe in past episodes. Can we talk about Quentin Lance for a second?
Do we have to?
That is not your daughter, Quentin Lance. Okay, so they're setting him up for. This dude is bananas, right? I mean, that last shot was really horror movie. The psycho killer has a heroine and is driving her away, strapped into the backseat, bleeding. Like, that's what that's supposed to be like.
Where he has her handcuffed in the backseat going, you're going to be fine.
I'm going to drag my daughter out of you. Nope.
You're going to be fine. She's in there. I know she is. You're going to be fine. It's like, oh my God, this is Kathy Bates stuff.
So I wanted a little more for Bahal Blackthorne to do. This is not what I wanted. I did not want. I'm worried that he's not going to survive this season, honestly. And at this point, if it keeps him from being like, that's my daughter, I mean, maybe I'm okay with it, and that hurts me.
Although I will say, for him to lose 3 daughters
That's rough. No, I agree. And that's the thing. I don't begrudge this man a broken, grieving psyche. I don't. But as one of my Twitter mutual, Stormy Woods, said, I don't even like our Laurel. And the idea that Black Siren is his Laurel is an insult to our Laurel, who I don't even like.
Yeah,
I mean, really.
Yeah. You know what? I'd say, Quentin, move to Arizona. just get a nice patch of sun. Say
it's
hi.
It's dry heat.
Yeah,
you're gonna love it.
Yeah, it's dry heat. You can just relax. Maybe get a pool. You can hang with Steph Muniz whenever you want. With Stephanie from the Gotham Lights podcast, and just kick it back and relax. Like, at this point with the stress, everything you've been through, it's okay to retire. I think
maybe start a cactus garden.
Yeah.
That's what they do in Arizona, right?
Yeah. Get a job in a dude ranch. I don't know.
Just try on some spurs.
Yeah.
Anything but what you're doing, dude.
Yeah,
no.
I think he just needs to get away from the Star City grind.
Okay, next grievance. Are you, Edward O'Hare, nickname TBD, familiar with the phrase "too stupid to live" as it applies to fictional characters?
Yes.
I mean, it's not complicated. It's a character who is too stupid to live. Guess who I'm talking about this week on Arrow?
William.
Like, this is Carl stay in the house level. There's a bomb. Stay in the bunker. Don't go to the rooftop where the grown-ups are talking. William.
Yeah, but I want to be with my dad. Like,
no, you don't even like your dad.
Well, this is an example of writers writing him like a 10-year-old and not a 14-year-old. And this is a problem that Stephen Amell and the actor who plays William couldn't figure out, how to make the dialogue better because, you can't,
because the plot demanded.
Yeah.
Like, I don't mean to stereotype 14-year-olds, but wouldn't William be down there with his phone and not look up from it ever and be like, sure, whatever's fine. It's cool. Whatever.
Also, it just like, I don't, the idea of him like clawing on, like, I just want to be near you right now. It feels like a 4-year-old who needs to go to sleep in his parents' bed at night.
I guess counterpoint, he did lose his mom not that long ago. So, who are we to say what the trauma is like? But I agree. It was, I wanted to shake him till his teeth rattled because it was dumb and it was done for plot purposes.
Yeah.
And the writers couldn't find a good reason to spin that wheel until they just made him be dumb.
Yeah. And I don't think there was precedent for it in this episode. Like I would have rather had him be like, oh, I saved everyone on the bus. I can be a superhero too.
Okay, yeah, that I could buy. I want to be like my dad. I'm going to help.
Yeah, like that I would have bought. I think that's an easier sell than the whole I'm so scared, so I'm going to follow my dad into the dangerous part of the city right now. I don't want to get burned by the fire, so I'm going to run right into it.
Clearly. Also, Renee, take all the seats. Honestly, I defended Renee last season. I like that actor very much. I defended that character all last season when people were like, "Oh, I don't know about him." No, he's a different perspective. He's great. Early this season, I was still like, "No, we got to give Renee a chance." No, Renee, shut it down. We're not staying just because we're working together doesn't mean we're working together. Let's get out of here. Oh my God, nobody asked you back, Renee. Go. You don't even go here.
Oh, and that's another thing that I like this whole A-Team-B team thing. Like, it's got to stop now. Like, this is if you were going to do that, then you needed to have 2 or 3 episodes where they're separate and they're doing their own things and they're getting into conflict with each other. Every single episode,
but they keep working together.
Yeah, every single episode since they split up, they've gotten back together.
Yeah.
I think this is poor planning.
Well, I have bad news because when the show comes back on March 1st, it seems to be setting up Green Arrow Civil War, where it's A team versus B team. And what baffles me, what genuinely baffles me is, do they think anybody's rooting for the B team? I mean, A team hasn't been 100% perfect. Oliver and Diggle and Felicity, they've made mistakes, but nobody's like, I really hope Team Curtis prevails. Of course not. So...
Yeah, I don't know why. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm still trying to figure out why Curtis is with those guys. Like,
yeah, that doesn't make much sense either. That feels more contrived than the rest of it. Renee being all upset with Oliver when he's the one testifying against Oliver, that's dumb. But Curtis, I don't understand.
Well, I can understand why he's upset with Oliver and Felicity, like why he's not working with them anymore. But I don't understand why he would ally himself with Renee and Dinah. Especially
since it ruined his marriage. Vigilantism ruined his marriage. He had a falling out with Oliver. So you're going to hook your wagon to these two lame horses? I don't think so.
Yeah. All right. We're really running along. So
okay. Do you want me to do real fast news for the rest of our shows?
Yeah. There's is there news on Arrow or is it?
Not. Okay. There is not. All right. Just that it's gone for the Olympics. It'll be back in March. Okay. Quickly, Legends of Tomorrow. A little bit more information about Constantine appearing. He is going to have perhaps some information on Malice, who is, shaping up to be an interesting big bad this season. Also, according to showrunner Mark Guggenheim, he and Sara are both randy and bisexual. They're on the same ship and they're reconnecting for the first time since he helped her get her soul back. Oh my God, I get it. You guys really want us to think Constantine's going to bone somebody on the Wave Rider. I get it. It's getting icky at this point. The number of people that you're like, he's going to have sex with him. No, her. No, him. No, all of them. All of them, Constantine, all the time. Like, ugh. I'm really excited for Constantine to be on Legends. Don't get me wrong, but I wish they'd quit pushing that like sexy angle. Like we know he's a good looking man. We can see that. Let it evolve. When the show is back this week, it is back. It is not taking time off for the Olympics. The episode will involve Blackbeard the pirate, which I am very excited about. Unfortunately, the episode title is Daddy Darkest, and that of course is spelled like Damien Dark. Boo!
Boo. Boo.
So embrace the Blackbeard. Understand we're probably going to see a pair of piercing blue eyes, and that's just how it's going to go. Next show, Gotham. Cancel Bear is a website that tracks possible cancellations or renewals. It is worried about Gotham, in part because of the Fox merger with Disney. That's a concern, but also Fox outbid the other networks and landed Thursday Night Football, which means there's a lot less primetime real estate to fill up with original content now. And so Cancel Bear dropped it to, Ed, was it 3 bears or 2 bears?
3.
3 bears.
3, which means it's a toss up.
2 bears means start saying your goodbyes. 1 bear means it's dead and buried. So it's 3 bears, which could be, it goes up to 5 bears.
Yes. Yeah. 3 is right in the middle. 2 means likely cancellation. 1 means dead in the water.
4 means pretty good. 5 means basically already renewed. So that's not great because I think there's a lot of life in Gotham yet. And we see that this week with the teaser trailer.
Yes.
Which is longer than, usually you get like 30 seconds, Gotham's back, but this one was a 5-minute deal that appeared magically on both my DVR and Ed's DVR because it aired as new Gotham footage last week. Yeah. It was this week. It was just, random 5-minute. I think it was actually built in, just a 5-minute teaser. Going on with... It sort of had a previously this season, and here's what we have coming up. And it featured a lot of what I consider to be exciting pairings. There's a lot of good Jim and Bruce, Jim and Babs, which all of a sudden I found myself thinking, I don't hate it. Jim and Sophia, Jim and everybody, apparently. Then we had some Bruce and Selena, which looked very promising. Some Jerome and Oswald, which I think is way overdone, and I'm already like, ugh. But... this could be fun. Yeah. Who knows? And then we get a great look at the new Ivy, who is a grown woman now.
Yeah, and who doesn't look like Poison Ivy. Just saying.
Not like you're not saying like the actresses who came before her, but like the comic classic version of Poison Ivy.
Yeah, it doesn't look like Pamela Isley, and like. Like I could actually believe that Ivy 1 and Ivy 2 were the same person grown up. This one is so different. And to me, if you're Poison Ivy, you've got to have that red hair, and that hair isn't flaming enough for me. I don't know.
Maybe they'll fix it in post-production. Maybe they'll hear the outcry on the internet. Give us a redheaded Ivy or give us death.
Yeah. So.
The other noteworthy thing about the Gotham trailer is a lot of bats, like the animal, like flapping bats.
Yeah. Which leads me to believe, they're hoping for a renewal, but they're preparing in case there isn't one. So we've got to have those set up in there somehow.
Yeah, all I really ask is that they give us an ending that could be an ending. If Cancel Bear is correct, I'm going to keep saying Cancel Bear until I'm dead. Then wrap it up in a way that would satisfy us. Yeah. Because I've had my heart broken too many times. I'm looking at you pushing daisies too many times. So that's it for Gotham this week. Any other thoughts on that?
No, let's move on.
All right, iZombie. Back on February 26th. I'm super excited. Interview with Rahul Kohli, who plays Ravi, says all along, showrunner Rob Thomas has said that season 4 is when they would completely change the landscape in a post-apocalyptic way. So this has always been planned, this big shift the show's doing, which I think is super cool. He also said that, from the beginning, Ravi and Clive have been the two human POV characters, that you have a lot of zombies, but it was those two who were the humans. And so with the Ravi is he or isn't he a zombie question, it surprised him a little bit that they would even flirt with taking away one of the human POVs. Because, if you lose Ravi, your only human is Clive. And that really, and maybe that's part of the big shakeup in season 4, but that would be a big change. I guess you also have the roommate, Peyton.
Yes.
Parsley.
Yeah, Peyton. Mm-hmm.
Peyton. One of those P names that I don't quite think is a real name.
Parsley.
I'm going to call her Parsley for the rest of this podcast. Not tonight. I mean, like the rest of the life of the DCTV report, just so you're aware. So that's iZombie. It's this month. We get it this month. Some news on Krypton. There was a Super Bowl spot for Krypton, and it had a lot of the Hans Zimmer "Brom" on the soundtrack.
Yeah. Now, just quick thing. I watched the Super Bowl with a bunch of extended family at my uncle's house with a bunch of cousins. And you had about a good 8 or 10 grown men in a room all going like, what is this? And me going, oh, it's this Superman show without Superman. Okay,
you guys, see, here's the deal. Okay.
You know what? It's Bill Sweeney's Eugene voice from Preacher. That's what it is. Yeah. Did they like the look of it, or were they skeptical?
They were like, "Oh, what is that? That looks interesting." That's okay. And then it was, the more I explained it, the more like, oh,
wait, there's no Superman.
And the second, see, it's one of those shows. The second you get to you need like more than 2.5 sentences to explain it, people just automatically tune out.
Well, you see, there's class conflict on Krypton before it explodes, and you see the House of Elf.
Yeah. You should have just said it's Superman's grandpa before Krypton exploded. Just stop right there.
That's probably how they sold the show to Sci-Fi, to be honest. Yeah. So anyway, David S. Goyer, who sold the show to Sci-Fi, said that he actually has a 7 to 8 year plan for the show, which is really optimistic.
That is bold.
He said, we're really changing the ending. And if you know the ending to the story, you actually don't. And the stakes have much more to do with the present than they do with the past. So I don't know if he's trying to tell us that Krypton isn't going to explode, and that Superman isn't going to go to Earth and becomes, Earth's son. So anyway, we also have new photos from some of the episodes that are going to be airing starting March 21st. And I got to tell you, as I flip through that photo set, there are no smiling people. Everybody looks like the vet has just come in and been like, I'm sorry, we had to put your dog down. That is the expression on everybody's face. Now, I'm not saying that I need my people to be smiling, happy, like walking advertisements for mood-altering chemicals, but like everybody looks really dour in this. And when you add that with the brom on the soundtrack, I don't know, Ed.
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
And then I have to read this really quickly. Yahoo Entertainment TV writer Ken Tucker used to be at EW.com. Now he's at Yahoo. He wrote an article for Yahoo Entertainment that is deeply skeptical of Krypton and Metropolis, which we talked about last week.
Yeah.
I think it was last week, which is the Superman show without Superman that has Lois Lane and Lex Luthor investigating fringe science, which, okay, cool. Ken Tucker says about Krypton, you know in your bones that Krypton is going to be a nonstop costume drama with everyone talking in stentorian tones, not using contractions and yakking endlessly about family lineage and palace intrigue. I wish my DVR had a do not record this even in a moment of weakness setting. Krypton premieres March 21st on Sci-Fi. Good luck with that.
Wow.
That's real bitchy. And I appreciate that. He is really skeptical. And he said, I know I shouldn't prejudge, but this has all the hallmarks of like a Marvel's Humans, which is taking itself too seriously, being too dark, being too far removed from the reason we like this property in the first place, which is Superman. So
yeah, I don't know. I mean, the fact that Adam Strange is going to be here and that there is that time travel element does give me more hope for the show. Mm-hmm. That's a character that I don't think you can, that is going to bring some optimism to the show. And I think, even it's probably going to be grounded, but I think that could be fun. And
maybe that's it. I see no hint of fun with any of the material, any of the promos, any of the pictures. Mm-hmm. It looks so dark and dour. And maybe that's what I'm responding to poorly at this point.
Yeah. My hope is that Adam Strange is going to be like, you guys are a bunch of tight asses. You got to get your act together. I'm hoping that he's the guy who brings in Earth pop culture references. But we'll see.
Yeah, of course, we're going to watch it. It's DC TV. Mm-hmm. But I hope I'm wrong. I hope that my reserved skepticism is proven wrong because I want to love this show. Mm-hmm. But I also want a little bit of natural light and occasionally somebody smiling at somebody else. I don't ask for much.
Yeah. I will say, I think I've mentioned this before. I have had a little bit of a sneak peek into the script for the pilot through a connection of a friend I have who's an actor who auditioned for the lead role. And the stuff I read there, is very comic heavy goodness, but I think there is a really
Ed, I lost you.
Hello and welcome. Sorry about that. My microphone cord got pulled out and we had to take a quick break while
I yelled into the microphone, Ed, don't you die on me! Don't you die on me!
Oh, I can't wait to hear that audio and editing. Quick thing. I was starting to say was, I have a buddy who's an actor who auditioned for the lead in Krypton, and I got a sneak peek at part of the script for the pilot, and I was just saying that there is some interesting twists and turns that this story could take that I think could be really cool. So that's why I'm holding out hope and I'm looking forward to it.
That makes me feel better. And I think they're leaning hard onto and we've talked about this before, but the kind of the DCEU.
Yeah.
The cinematic universe feel of things, and that's going to be catnip to some people. And just for me, not so much. But God knows, previews don't represent the finished material. So, I'm looking forward to seeing it. Also, your friend must be handsome if he's auditioning to be Superman's grandpa. Yeah.
Yeah. Not gonna lie. He's kind of a looker. Very
easy on the eyes.
Yeah. Very different type than what they went with. I won't say anymore because to protect him.
Sure.
Yeah. No. So that's all the news for this week, right?
That is it.
Okay. So I guess that means now we're up to our winners for the week.
Now, my question, do you have a theme this week or do you have a person?
I have a theme.
Okay. I have a theme too, but I also have a person. Do your theme first, just in case we have the same theme, because then I'll do my person.
And my theme is bad promises.
Ooh.
I think in all the episodes, someone made a promise that they either can't keep or shouldn't have given. And I think Lucifer telling Marcus that sure, I'm in a deal is going to help us, and I'll and you know, when obviously he wasn't going to. I think Lena telling Samantha, "Oh yeah, I'll be able to fix this problem. We're gonna figure out what's going on." When she has no idea what she's up against,
and there's no fixing this problem.
Yes.
So.
Yes. I thought the Thinker making his promises to the mechanic, that the plan's still working. It's going to be fine. You don't need to worry. You don't need to worry about me. I think what was the promise with I think Jennifer making that promise to Khalil that she was going to quit the track team. I think that was a bad move. And in Arrow, I think the promises that Quentin Lance was making. What was going on there? No.
Well, and every promise Oliver has ever made to William also.
Yes, yeah. Oh yeah, and that was reiterated this week. There we go. What was your theme this week?
My theme was people slowly gaining mastery over their powers. It wasn't all the shows, but we definitely saw Ralph on The Flash find a new way to use his elongation powers. We saw Caitlin master her Killer Frost powers in a way that I think was a little more controlled and deliberate than before. Obviously, Julia / Purity on Supergirl, that was a struggle for who's in control of this person. And Anissa on Black Lightning, we're seeing her testing the limits and seeing what can she do and what should she not do because she is stronger than the average bear. So it wasn't on all the shows. I really couldn't come up with anybody who fit that quite as well on the others that we talk about, but I thought there was a lot of people sort of stretching out of their original limits and seeing what they can do, and I enjoyed that.
Cool. And you said was there a person too? Or was it just...
and it's funny, there was a person too, my runner-up. I didn't even mention him in the recap of the episode, but on Supergirl, Wynn, I thought, had an exceptionally good week this week. He fixed the Legion ship through some kind of weird metric system. He got to see John's Bel Air, which was really exciting. He got to see the spaceship. He doesn't get to drive it, but he got to see it. When Alex was upset, he hugged her and he offered a lot of comfort. I just thought he was empathic and he was smart and he was sciencey and he was nerdy and he was excited. And it was just, he didn't do a lot in terms of a plot advancing, but in the background, he was just a key utility player. And I enjoyed everything he did this week on Supergirl. Win.
Perfect.
For the win.
For the win. All right. Well, that's the DC TV report for this week.
For better or for worse.
You can find us on Twitter. I'm at Edward O'Hare TBD.
I'm at Sara Netzley, SaraNetzley.
Yeah, and you can follow the show on Twitter at DCTV Report. Send along your emails to dctv@wickedtheory.com. We haven't had any in a couple of weeks, so please drop us a line. Also, be sure to subscribe to our show on your podcast app of choice, and check out our sister shows, the Wicked Theory Podcast and Preacher vs. Preacher. This has been a Wicked Theory Studios production. Executive producer Bill Sweeney. Visit us at wickedtheory.com. Shazam, everybody.
Shazam.
Shazam!